Welcome everyone to the Master Vox, where today we have with me the Grand Slam as my co-caster. Graham, would you like to introduce yourself and the players ahead of us?
Yeah, so I can just reintroduce myself again. I am the Graham Slam, currently infamous. But today we have the Witch Doctor playing at 715th balance here on the left in the blue. And on the right we have Hickco, aka the Hick, and he's playing First Pancellos Maverick. So we'll see if Witch Doctor can cook up some nasty brew and get a fat dub on Shedrin.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, especially with Witch Doctor putting all of these support equipments and uploading them in the southern portion. Up north, it's kind of a little bit of a light for my taste, but the south, he's committing. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, he's very light up north in the town, which to me, if I'm Hickco, I'm pushing the town. Like you're the Maverick income. Just hold your side of the hill. Don't let him get invested in the middle, and you wipe the town out there because that's a nice little chunk of flags that can get you a good double tick early. And we see that he's already at 1410.
Yeah, he's able to sneak a flag in the center of that town, and he's able to take the hill flag right now. So that's where that's coming from. But it looks, there's a lot of support equipment in the bottom.
Yeah, a ton. Which he's got. What's that? We got Pack 38, 2 MG42s, 2 IG18s. Which the IG18 kind of lost a little bit of luster after it was taken 2-kilometer range, was taken away. But it's still actually a really nasty gun for the 35 points. And then we see a Tiger command vehicle there in the back, plus an SDKFZ. So he's very conscious here. Witch Doctor is about any kind of airplay against this Tiger.
Yeah, well, we know that, well, if you look at the Pancellos, he doesn't really have the ability to deal with heavy armor almost at all until B phase when he brings in his JU-87s for the clusters.
Yeah, the clusters, yeah.
And honestly, if this is a newer player making this deck, bring him an A. The 3 availability in A will carry you through the entire game, and it gives you the availability to deal with, like, heavy armor in A itself. So that's my little teaching point there.
No, I think that's a good teaching point for anybody of any experience level in the game. If you can get cluster bombers, they need to come out as early as possible, because for 10 minutes, you don't want to be abused by any heavy armor, especially the way armor interactions work in Steel Division 2. So being able to neutralize that would be huge. Where for Witch Doctor, you know, if I'm him, get aggressive in the south, because you haven't seen any planes, you do have an SCKFZ, you have a lot of support equipment, because you're going to lose the north.
Yeah, the North remembers, and as we see up here, he has come over the wall.
Fredericksburg.
It's weird to see that we have one Pioneer 15W holding the entire line, and Witch Doctor is... Oh, nope, he's investing some of the Fanatical Panzer Grenadiers. Oh, the Luftwaffe Jaeger. And P40.
Yeah, I think right here, if you're Hickco, you need to put pedal to the metal. The front line should tell him there's nothing in front of him, and there isn't. It's a Panzer Extreme that doesn't influence it, and a disheartened Pioneer squad on the run. All these units should be moving to advanced positions in the town. Secure yourself that area, because, I mean, look at what Witch Doctor's bringing up. Martyr 3, Panzer 2F, an 81mm mortar. Like, he's not contesting this town anytime soon. He's just basically trying to do a little bit of cheap damage control.
Yeah, he's trying to do a containment strategy right now, and you can see that with the Luftwaffe Jaeger coming in and being deployed in the far back of the town. Other thing is, it looks like Hickco has been stretched a little thin. All right, now he's moving the forces to in the center, and that should be able to outflank the salient that we currently have developing in the south. So we'll be able to see what happens.
It's going to project this front line here forward and give him a 15-9, which if you are Maverick with a 15-9, this early in A, you're doing something right. That's how you crush a balanced player and utterly destroy their dreams and hopes. So he needs to continue to push forward in that middle sector, push forward in the north, and then just go full damage control in the south. Because at this, you're going to force Witch Doctor into making a decision. Where does he dump his limited amount of income for the next 20 minutes or next 15 minutes?
Yeah.
And that just puts you in a great position as the Maverick player.
It really does. And one thing that's interesting to me, that Turan 1's about to go from the Tiger, but Witch Doctor did a great job here by securing the south and putting that Tiger to the point where he can cut off all reinforcements. So it kind of looks like they like did a complete swing in the north and the south. So it's really interesting to see how that's playing out.
Yeah, I'm curious why both players invested in mortars so early when their front lines were still unstable. Like, you know, Witch Doctor brought a mortar out first before anything else up in the north, and then double mortar called out here by Hickco when he has, I mean, I don't know how he's going to push back that force there. I just don't think there's an, yeah, I mean, look, that 75 mil just got blapped in his transport. That's almost an undealable amount of like armor for his deck currently.
Yeah.
So he needs to focus other areas. Lucky for him, he can get flamers in that middle forest. He still hasn't taken the most northern flag available to him, which would give him back a 59.
Yeah. One thing I think the issue is here with this, once the south is completely taken, you have to hold the center of the lungs area. And I think that you brought up a really good point with the investment in some mortars so early. Would you mind just telling our audience why investing in mortars when your lines are unstable so early is a bad move?
Well, artillery is a complementary item. So if you're investing, and same with aircraft, if you're investing in a unit that doesn't project influence and power on the front line, you need to be in a stable situation. Witch Doctor buying mortars now in the south, that's totally fine because he has gained ground, he's pushing back, and it can provide support damage. If you're investing, and so those are it's 120 points, those 81mm mortars by Hickco that he bought as his front line crumbled. It's going to do nothing except feed your opponent more time to consolidate his advanced position. It's the same with aircraft. When you buy aircraft and you're losing, you're almost always giving more power to your opponent on the ground.
So you would say that buying that support equipment when you don't have a steady line and it is more of a detriment because it's just not putting more troops on the line to hold it. So it's just...
Yeah, especially against a Maverick player. And this is where, Hickco's a little more insulated because of his income choice. But if you're a Maverick player, nice pick on the MG42, but,
oh, yeah.
And you're going against a balanced player, and the balanced player is deploying artillery. He's deploying aircraft early. All that tells me is, wow, there's 60 points non-frontline units. There's 100 points non-frontline units. Let me get more aggressive on the front line, which also lets you trade a little worse because you are putting so much more of your deck onto the battlefield at an earlier stage. Whereas, I think if you're... Witch Doctor hasn't done this, I don't think it's any great detriment because he is in a good spot right now. But, when a game's a little more contested, typically I would say opt for more ground units versus something, unless you just need to kill something like, you need to buy a cluster bomber to kill a tank. But even then, you never know if your opponent has a fighter.
Very true, but like at that point you're trying to force those trades and try to make it like a valuable purchase versus like a panic purchase of like a cluster or a random bomber just to try to push an area where you could just have more units on the front line to solidify your position in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is less of an issue with the fighters being nerfed in terms of their strafing. Whereas, 2 years ago, a lot of guys, they would see like, oh, there's a support piece. I'm buying a 110-point fighter just to go strafe it, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of, especially in SC2, which is so 20-point, 25-point infantry focused today. That's a lot of income put into non-combat units. And we see here, 3 Nimrods have just been bought by Hickco, so obviously he was floating points when he bought this. And I mean, what is that really going to accomplish for him? It's not going to push back that Tiger. I mean, he's feeding this Tiger right now. If that dude got some better glasses in that Tiger Fuhrer, who is that? Kleinman? Yeah, if Kleinman got some better glasses, all this armor would be dead.
I think what we're seeing here is that Hickco has the right idea with trying to push...
It, though.
That's a beautiful move.
That's nice. Oh, that was nice. I did not expect that.
That is a beautiful move. But what I was going to say is, I think that Hickco, if you look at the move orders for those things, well, before he realized what was going on, it was actually going to where I would recommend, which is from the lung position to try to push from north to south.
That's IG.
Ooh.
The Nimrod got flat by the IG-18. I mean, that's just... The Nimrod wasn't a smart choice. You haven't seen any air coming out of your opponent. There's no reason to buy that. I know that like first spin styles kind of hurts in this regard, but I think he's not really what he's not doing is he's not focusing where his advantage is. It's that town. There's Witch Doctor still holds the top end flag in the town.
Yeah, he's holding that southernmost position with a single fanatical unit, which is crazy. And it looks like Witch Doctor's trying to push into the center portion of the lungs as well.
Yeah, with more than Luftwaffe, the Jäger, the fanatical reserve troops going in hot here. The one Tolley should actually buy a decent amount of time until at least this Panzerschreck gets in position.
Yeah, the Tolley's a great buy because it's like a 10-point leader unit. Wait, what'd you see?
That's Tiger just annihilating all the Hungarian armor on the road. Make it stop, bro. Someone throw the towel in on that road.
And the crazy part is, if you look over here, there's 120 mil. Wait, where's his flak filling? Did it die? It must have died from the mortar.
No, he has. Wait, the SKOZ is chilling.
Wait, where's it at?
The south. It's just behind the Pack 40s.
Oh, okay. Oh, I
driving?
see. Yeah, I see it driving now. I was about to say, because a cluster bomber is about the only way. Yeah.
Yeah, he brought an HS right here because he just hit the, but yeah, the SKOZ. Oh, plus he has that 20 mil.
Yep, he's got 2 20 mils. Oh, no, yeah, 2. One up on the hill and one there behind the MG42.
Yeah, so he does get a shot into the Tiger, which I don't know if it pinned. I'm trying to look at the damage model. It might have pinned.
It did pen it because it has dents there. But a Tiger has 12 hit points because it's a heavy tank, so it's going to take a little bit more.
Has the Tiger always had 12 HP?
I think so, because American bazookas don't kill it when it hits and
That's right.
penetrates it.
Yeah, bazookas don't auto kill it. Yeah, you're right.
Panzer strikes, though, they do.
The big difference is that, yeah, because the 88, though, doesn't one-shot tanks. That's, like, the big... Whereas, like, the 88 can't one-shot medium armor versus, like, the IS-2, which obviously can't one-shot medium armor.
Yeah, but the 88 has a much better accuracy compared to the IS-2's 40%.
I've lost a lot of Tiger and Panther tanks fighting ISU 152s, IS-2. Sometimes accuracy is all about who has the bigger gun.
Oh, yeah. It's all about who gets that kill. And the ISU 152, he's the big boy on the block.
Yeah, you'll have that 30% accuracy, and then the first shot hits your Tiger tank and obliterates it.
Oh, yeah, it's the saddest
Here
moment
comes
ever.
JHM, though. The mortars were actually nice there, trying to drop HE and just wait and do some stun damage to SKFZ. He's still not going to be enough there, but that was the right move, and unfortunately for him, the SKFZ. Oh my god, it's annihilated that JU-87.
Oh, yeah, the JU-87 didn't stand a chance. It's just like how these Pack 40s and Tigers are just massacring the Hungarians. This is like not even Battle of 73 Easting. This is like Hell's Highway level of just death on this road right now.
Yeah, and then Witch Doctor is investing in a DO 217 right here. Drops some heavy bomb. Oh, he's going for the Turan too. Kind of surprising. I guess he's worried about. That's an expensive bomber. What is that? Oh, I can't see it now.
Turan 1's 30-point tank. So.
No, I wanted to know what the price of that DO was, but I can't see it because he's on an evac order. Thank you, Eugen.
Yeah, it's weird you can't touch them. So that Turan 1 broke, and so now it's running away. So that should give time for the IG-18. Oh, God, no.
Yeah,
the Pack 40s to kill it. Jesus
the
Christ.
Pack 40s said, Alvida's in.
Now, Hickco is still holding the town up north. Like, there is, like, no contest here.
Yeah, but he's, like, completely lost any advantage he could have. Like, he should have this entire town and force Witch Doctor into going street by street, block by block, Stalingrad action to get him out, and instead, he's allowed one Luftwaffe Jaeger to hold on to that point, which is allowing him to get ticked as Maverick in B phase.
Yeah, this is crazy. Witch Doctor's play at the very beginning, though it was very greedy, because if that went to shit, everything else following in that game would have gone down. But the ploy in the beginning is actually, like, saving him as the balanced player.
Oh wow, the Turan 2 is trying to snipe the Tiger as it drives right across in front of it. Every shot just bouncing right off the side armor of the Tiger, like he literally does not care.
Well, that's because of the Turan 2's AP shells, which is the base shell that the AI goes to for some reason, whatever it is horrible. The heat shell, the 90 mils of penetration, and the 8 damage it's fantastic, but you just have to micro and turn off the AP shell. So if you're new to playing Hungarians, I can understand that fuck up. So I would just say, if you're playing Hungarians, just turn off the AP shell and let the Lord take the wheel with that heat shell, because I know it's a less accurate shell, but it's so much worth it. So the accuracy is 25% versus 50, but the damage, you're not penetrating anything with the AP shell unless you're fighting light armor.
Yeah, and also in the Tiger's defense, in case it wasn't a micro mistake, it does have 85mm sidearm. So, at that range, I don't think he's penetrating, whether it's heat, AP, or APFSDS.
I mean, so remember, he doesn't actually lose armor penetration characteristic over range. So The Turan, too, could have done the Lord's work with 2 hits if it got it.
In theory.
In theory. All of this is in theory, in Minecraft, of course.
Yes, in Minecraft, whereas Witch Doctor said he's got some homebrew voodoo magic, and it's called the Tiger E, and he's going to shove it down some Hungarian throats.
Oh no, this is like this is the casting couch of tigers right now, because it is holding the line everywhere.
Oh, Nebelwerfer being fired, and he's trying to snipe the Pack 40s, which, I mean, it might get the kill here. The Nebelwerfer is an interesting unit when it comes to trying to snipe strategic pieces. It's not awful at it, but the spread based also tied with its with the caliber means it's unreliable. So there'll be moments where the Nebelwerfer 41 can just obliterate a piece of equipment in front of you, and there's other moments where it'll almost completely miss all around it, which it did with that Pack 38.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like with Nebelwerfers, 1 is none, 2 is some. If that makes any sense to you, where you just need 2 of them to saturate the same area.
No, they're also kind of. They can also be really nasty, and just like if you're like trying to take a town, you just need to like stun everything in like a little like in a grid square. It's gonna be really good at that, but it's not a great sniping tool a lot of the time.
So for that, I actually really like the Katusha for that purpose, like just being able to use it as a really sudden off map, and then you push through it because it stuns everything in that little circle. It doesn't kill for shit, but it's not meant to. It's meant to stun.
I used to use the Nebelwerfer, especially with something Sturm. I would take the A phase one in A, and you just use it as like a cheap off map off the start, like just especially on Haroshaya, like put them in front of you, get the enemy engaging with you, and then drop the Nebelwerfer right on the big concentration and go behind it, and you're gonna stun literally everything inside of the circle.
Yeah, no, and it does a great job at that. It's just you have to use it either for like that on map, off map like feel to stun, or you have to use it to saturate an area with multiple of them. So that's actually how I feel MLRS is like these Nebelwerfers are meant to be used.
It does have a quick reload too for MLRS in the game.
Holy shit, it's already reloaded. That's crazy.
If I reloaded, it should be completely good to go here, probably about a minute, maybe 45 seconds. We do see a Flak 36, you know, it is a 41 mil, it is an 88, excuse me, brought out here trying to push back some of this armor, but that's going to have a hard time killing the Tiger from max range because of the 165 frontal armor of the Tiger E, so it really won't do a good job of killing any of that. Now, it will kill the Pack 40, the light vehicles. Then again, if that IG-18 could get within 1500 meter range, it will blap the Flak 36.
Alright, so you were talking about a Tiger not getting penetrated by a Flak 88. Look north of the lungs.
Yeah,
that Flak 88, Witch Doctor's on his game with this smoke. I'm really happy to see smoke play from both players, actually. And you see,
100%.
It's giving that Tiger E a new lease on life.
The big difference is the range right there, though. That was like a 1,200 meter range where the Flak 36 got to engage that Tiger E. And you're right, then it's going to penetrate, and it will trash a Tiger E. But at about 1750 onwards, it can be a little difficult. Oh, the Tiger E down south is dead for the Nebelwerfer.
Oh, what? What? That is a beautiful Nebelwerfer strike.
Yeah, 100% because out of range of the Flak 36. The Nebelwerfer got a nasty, because it was already pinned from the HS earlier.
Oh, that is right. It did take that pen.
Big pickup here, but we'll see if he can actually maximize himself, or maximize, you know, his division and try and gain some ground down south here. Because the counterattack up north is going on, along with the Luftwaffe. DO-217s about to make their presence felt inside the town.
And those have 8 250 kilogram bombs, so those are a really good carpet bomber.
Yeah, and it's just the one Nimrod. There's a Flak 36. Oh, the B409, though, the G14 coming in.
Ooh.
If it can get on the tail here, it will get a snipe on this 217. The DO-217 isn't a slow bomber, so there's a chance. Oh, no, she should get it. The 109 coming in right now. The first angle. It's just
it's getting it. It's getting it. Oh, it got it. It got it.
Yeah, he got one. Big pick off there by Hickco. But once again, he is being ticked in B phase as Maverick against Witch Doctor, which I think long term that means he's going to lose this game. Oh, Tiger E died down south though.
Oh, so both Tigers are down. Yeah, but the problem is Hickco's not going to be able to take advantage of his income at this point. Though it has been back and forth, the income has favored Hickco.
Yeah, his last minute. This is his last dump here at 170. After that, it's 80 points onwards, and it's 150. Oh, and bro, I don't even know this how I know I'm out of date when it comes to some of the Steel Division 2 content here. There's an elephant in the 715th. It gets tigers and an elephant, plus fucking reserve infantry that are fanatical. That's wild.
Yeah, it's part of the new DLC. Both of these actually released in that
DLC called Power Creep.
Hey, it is, but I like how it just gives some diversity. You want to talk about power creep? Look up north and look at the Decima squads.
Yeah.
Now, you turn off the MG42 and it turns into an Opto Mochiki. That's better because 150 meter range.
Yeah, I was also just saying the recon ones that have the grenades.
Oh yeah, the Decima Esploratory. Yeah. The real power in 715th comes into the infantry tab mostly because of the Italians, honestly, with the close quarters fighting that it allows this division to do.
Yeah, this deck is wild. Like, what is that, a P4? Oh, they get the P40 as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It should. I mean, I could look at the deck. But, the nice snipe there by the Nebelver for down south really quick. Back to more, like, actual game casting. It does pick up the IG-18. But Hickco's in the, unenviable position of being a Maverick player who's been ticked more going into C phase.
Yeah.
Which just 9 out of 10 times, that means he's going to lose this game. It's just it's math, people. I suck at it. You probably suck at it. But at the end of the day, it's very rarely wrong when it comes to...
Oh, Jesus. These 150 mil self-propelled guns are counter-battering and getting direct hit. They got a direct hit on this 31M. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Someone just smother it, put it out of its misery.
They hit the counter-battery order, and then they got a UAV, and they put it right above, and so they're getting corrected shot deep into the back. Like, look at that. Oh, I thought that one was going to land a little more forward and kill it. But yeah, very effective counter-battery fire here from the 150s.
I really like how we're seeing, like, tube artillery in games nowadays, because it's a lot more variety than when I used to play, like, back competitively, and everything was just mortar half-tracks.
Yeah, it went through a period of time where tube artillery, it really mattered on the piece, right? So, like, the SK-18, you could bring that. Sometimes a card of 150s for pure, like, counter-battery work was okay. But you're right, the majority of your artillery and tube handling was done by 81 or 120mm mortars, especially if you had, annihilated that 149, especially if it had radio correction available to it. So that's just something that's changed over time, where artillery it's much more viable to bring in your deck.
And I think Eugen's done a good job with that, in the sense of, like, allowing for a diversity of units to be brought and be viable.
Yeah, I think a lot of the subtle balance changes have been good for the game. My big issue comes from the power creep that the DLC divisions have done, and just how massive the game knowledge is now required. So, you know what I mean? Like, you can have 1,000 hours in SD2, and you still don't know what's going on in every division. That's just kind of like there's so much attached to it. More divisions are coming for, multitude of reasons. Probably because Warno sucks. But it's going... There's a lot of game knowledge required today to be good in SD2. And while that was kind of always the case, I think now it's just kind of on steroids.
I agree with, like, what are we up to, like 90 divisions? I think that you have to have more...
Oh, the mortar with a snipe on the Taldi.
Oh,
like a direct
yeah.
shot to the commander. Oh, nasty.
Yeah, I think that you need more Steel Division knowledge than you do for, like, any of the other games that Eugen has out. Just because the variety in every one of the divisions has unicorn units, and you don't want to get the gotcha.
Right. Yeah, especially the newer ones. I mean, there's about 2 years onwards where, you're right, every new division had something going on with it. So whereas, like, the early divisions, the original 16 plus the 2 free ones if you bought the pre-order, you could figure them out relatively quick. Nowadays, you're 100% right. You can have 1,000 hours and you still don't know what the gist of every single division is, versus, like, Red Dragon, which has a lot of, like, knowledge up front that you need to learn. But once you get about, I'd say 250, 500 hours into the game, you pretty much know every single thing that's going on.
Yeah, but that's one of the fun things about Steel Division is there is such a variety. Like, even if it is a pain in the ass to learn and like play it, there's no other game that I enjoy more than this because of the variety. Where else are you going to play a World War II real-time strategy where I get to throw Hungarian Turan 2s fighting against, I don't know, French Moroccans?
No, that's and I think it's a great point that you make. It's one reason why the game is still so popular on both a competitive and a non-competitive level. 10v10s, 1v1, the 1v1 scene versus the single-player scene. Why is it still so popular? That's a big reason why. I think my only issue with it comes from the fact that a lot of it's come through paid DLCs. Like, the game originally wasn't like that, and so you're adding in a lot of unicorn, minute knowledge that's hidden behind a paywall.
I mean, I can agree with you. Also, I'm watching the Stalingrad-esque grinding going up in the northern town. It's actually really fun to watch right now.
It is Stalingrad up there. These Italian parachutists are going town to town. The Hungarians are trying to hold on here, but the time is just so against Hickco at this point. I mean, he's obviously staying in the game. He said, "I ain't hear no bell, bitch," but in reality, he's pretty much dead.
Yeah, between the support elements that Witch Doctor's bringing in, he's brewing up the pain right now. Oh god, the mortars killed the Turan too.
He got that nasty Witch Doctor brew about to deploy.
Oh yeah, and if he brings up these Decima just one building forward, he's going to be able to start plastering Moto Lovash and painting this Eastern European town red.
Yeah, this is where smoke from the mortar would be nice. If he smoked in front of these buildings here and got his Decima in the CQC, the Beretta will just annihilate. And so that's where there's been some nasty smoke play in this game, which was very surprising to see, and I love to see that. Smoke has always been really underutilized in ST2. The changes from Wargame to it have never really translated to being the all-powerful form of cover that it was in Wargame Red Dragon.
Yeah.
But it is way better than Smoke and Warno, and I wish more players utilized it. Players like Nilla were very big in smoke play once upon a time, and it's one of the reasons why he was so good, being able to create yourself artificial cover, because Smoke and ST2 is not bad.
No, Smoke and ST2 is fantastic, and we watched how the Tiger was saved by it. How Hickco used the smoke to save his advancing column going to where these Panzergrenadier and Pioneer 15W are. It does allow you to control the battlefield and control ranges, which is something that's really interesting with the smoke in ST2.
Yeah, once upon a time, I even tried using taking the 15-point flamethrower guys that have smoke.
Yeah.
And you could throw them in front of your tank. So, put one in front of your tank, and then micro it so that you could throw out a smoke charge so you wouldn't need a mortar to cover your tank if you were trying to engage on a hill or something.
Huh.
And it worked, but it's just so micro-intensive. And you know this as well as I do. The older you get, micro becomes a finite resource that you have.
I'm only operating on so much RAM here,
Right. There's only so much I got in the tank when it comes to micro in a game. These days, I'm not 21 cracked out on Red Bull playing StarCraft anymore. So, the older you get, you're like, all right, was my micro worth it on the smoke grenade from the 15-point unit?
You're gonna get to my level eventually where it's like, did I have fun? Yes, yeah. I had fun as I go back to my nursing home.
Yeah, I had fun if I won. If I lost, I did not have fun, right? Regardless of how the game actually went. If I won, I'll just say it. I had fun. I got that fat dub. But if I took the L, though, there's no way I had fun.
Oh, check out the Decima RDT. Those two Berettas are automatic rifles. So that means within 150 meters, everything is firing, and you have a Panzerfaust.
Yeah, look at that. They're within the range there, so their Berettas are firing at the same time. So are there? Oh, they were for a second. They were close enough that when the Beretta and the Beretta were all got to be clear there. We're all fighting at the same time, and you watch it shredded those poor Hungarians of that town. Just got annihilated in that building block.
Oh yeah, between the Eugen's love of obscure Eastern European SMGs. And now the love of the Papa Shaw, because they did that last update, and they updated the PPSH, thankfully.
Yeah,
So,
you told me about that before the cast. I'm curious to see how that's actually going to translate. I plan on playing some more Steel Division 2 here actually pretty soon. Um, I want to try out some of the changes that they've done. HS129 here actually coming and trying to get a shot on the Elephant. The Elephant's side armor is exposed to it. All in the SKSE being pulled back. There is a chance here.
No, no.
He missed it. He missed it. He was straight into some guns. The 75 mil wasn't actually shooting.
Oh, Jesus.
I think he lost line of sight.
How do you lose line of sight
don't know.
to the Elephant?
Yeah, that fat mofo. I really don't know. Like, but the 75 mil was not shooting on the HS129.
That's crazy.
Yeah, whereas up north, Witch Doctor is kind of like basically put, Hickco in a box, put him in a corner, and it's the artillery is just raining down on these poor Hungarians here. Like, I mean, it almost is like Stalingrad, except instead of being on the flanks, they're in the town.
Yeah, and as you see here, Witch Doctor's doing a great job with his support equipment, with his artillery, with his mortars. He's softening things up before he pushes his Italians in because he doesn't want them to give up with the pasta.
That's true. He told the boys there's chicken parm on the other side of this town. All you gotta do is go get it.
He just said the Hungarians made fun of Grandma's, bolognese.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know.
That's fighting words right there.
Yeah. When someone says your grandmother's cooking tastes like Olive Garden and you're Italian, it's just fighting words.
Yeah, war crimes are about to be committed.
Oh, and I was thinking about it while we were doing this cast. And I don't mind the divisions being behind a paywall, and here's why. You have to give some incentive for Yujin to keep pushing out new and unique things.
True.
And I believe that the amount of divisions you get for the $20 packs is worth it. And there's enough information out there right now so you can see and get a general idea of what divisions are going to be in there. There's people like me casting, you have Attack Power, you have Hobo Tango, you have a number, Vulcan. If you want to learn about a division before you buy it to do the research, you can.
Right.
And I think that is a very big thing because I would rather have that.
I would agree with you if the base game was free to play. If the base game today was free to play and people could just get the game and they would just, because nowadays, think about this, you're paying $40 and you're getting 16 divisions when there's almost 100 divisions in the game, right? That's a lot of DLC, especially if you want to get into 1v1s, you want to get into 2v2s, you want to play in some tournaments. Like, I'm saying not from the non-single player standpoint. That's a lot of money you're shelling out just to be competitive across the board. Whereas I think if the base game was free and then you had all these paid DLCs to then you really like pick and choose what you want and where you're putting money, I would totally agree with you.
So I actually really like that idea, and I think that if Warno bombs, that might be one of the best ways for Yujin to stay competitive on the market is by putting the base game as free and just buy the DLCs. When you get the DLCs, you can get like even just make like multiplayer free. And then you can buy the Army General.
Pack.
Yeah, the Army General pack. Just put it behind a paywall, $10, you get Army General, and then all of the DLCs will give you different access to different Army General things.
I agree with you completely. There's a great example of this in StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 went free to play a couple of years ago, and it's 100% given a new lease of life on the game. Anybody can join and play multiplayer. You get the Wings of Liberty campaign for free nowadays, and if you want more campaign action, what do, Branson? You buy it.
Exactly. And with that, I would like to point out that both players did a great job. We're looking here for Witch Doctor getting 29 kills to 17 losses. I think that his opening gambit was the big thing here.
I agree. Yeah, the opening push with the armor right there, and the inability of Hickco to realize, hey, he's dumped 80% of his points in one area. I need to go now. And what was crazy is that early on in this game, like 4 minutes, Hickco had a 15-9 for a brief moment in time.
Yeah.
There was the possibility of him winning this game, and I think his passivity really held him back.
Yeah, and I think the one thing I'm going to point out for Hickco's deck, just put the cluster bombers in A, and then the other big thing I want to point out is put the Stug 3G and the 44M bazooka in A as well, so you can utilize a form of armor or anti-tank to additionally deal with enemy medium to heavy armor. And that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing, and I think that if those would have changed a little bit and Hickco had the availability of those things, you saw how close that tiger was to those borders. Imagine if there was a bazooka there.
Absolutely. I think a couple small tweaks by Hickco, he wins that game. Whereas Witch Doctor, he recognized what he wanted to do. He had a plan, he executed it, and then held on through the rest of the game and kind of just built upon the momentum that he had early on. And it was just overall a great game by him.
Yeah, it was an overall great game. Everyone listening still, thank you very much. I love you all. You're my amazing audience. To that, please like, comment, and subscribe to the show.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe if you like it. Just show me some love back. And with that, we will see you on the next cast.